Hey everybody, this is Eric with Chaotic Goods. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to take a look at some sleeves that I mentioned in my previous video that I wanted to do a video on. This wasn't the video I intended on doing, but I wanted to show you guys the GameGenic Matte Prime sleeves. I've been using them for a couple weeks, and honestly, I think they might be one of the best sleeves I've ever used, which is saying a lot because, you know, I have prismatic defenders, I have waifu sleeves, I have over sleeves, I have, dragon shields, katanas, and in a lot of my previous videos I said that I am a die-hard katana fan. GameGenic Matte Prime sleeves have won me over for the best sleeve. And there's a lot of reasons, and we're going to go into a lot of those reasons in this video. So to get started, the first reason is going to be the price. Now, if you're shopping at your LGS, or you're going to, one of the big online retailers, your price is going to vary. For example, at my LGS, I was able to get these sleeves, all three of these colors, for $7.50. Now, 100 sleeves for $7.50 is actually really good. That's cheaper than that's cheaper than katanas. That's half the price of katanas, depending on where you buy them from. That's going to be cheaper than dragon shields. And then, prismatic defenders was about 100 sleeves for about $8, but then you had to pay for shipping. When I bought them at my LGS, they were about 12. So far, these are the cheapest sleeves I've been able to find. And even on Amazon, or like I said, other big online retailers, you're still paying around 10 to 12 bucks, depending on, the shipper, the carrier, the merchant, and everything like that. Now, obviously, as you can see, I put my hand on this at the beginning of the video, and they went flying. The black is a brand new double-sleeved deck. Hasn't been shuffled very much, so a downside here is they do have that new sleeve problem where they're slippery. As I mentioned in my prismatic defender video, they are just very slippery cards, very slippery sleeves, which is kind of annoying, especially if you're playing larger TCGs such as like Commander, so if you're playing larger TCGs such as Commander, or potentially, I guess really any TCG, because when you do this, they sit nice, right? But again, I can put a little bit of pressure, and then they just kind of go flying. Obviously, no one's just gonna like hit the side of their deck like that to make the cards go flying. So they are a little slippery, and they do take a little bit to break in. But unlike some sleeves, you set them down, they look great. My green sleeves here, I have been using a lot recently, so these ones are very broken in, and the shuffle feel is very, very good. There's a slight matte texture on the back in comparison to some other sleeves that I have over here as an example, and the front is a sort of like a matte finish as well. It's not a glossy finish, and I like that a lot, because sometimes when you have that glossy finish, it does have a smooth, sleek texture on the front, making the shuffle feel great, but again, you have that slippery problem where your cards just go falling like that. So there's a slight texture on the front, slight texture on the back, to where the shuffle feel is very smooth, and I'm not worried about, my cards going flying anywhere. And like I said, I've been using these for a lot. I'm preparing for a big tournament coming up in a couple weeks, so I've been shuffling like crazy and playing these. And you can kind of take a look. There aren't really any major nicks or damages or anything to the sleeves. Now, obviously, I'm probably going to re-sleeve for the tournament, just for tournament's sake. But this is 40 cards, double sleeved. They shuffle extremely well. I am very, very happy with these sleeves, and as I mentioned in my prismatic defender video, the size of the sleeves are also really nice. Now, these are double sleeved, and you can kind of see here, if you look at the top, depending on the card, which you can see this one right here, sometimes the sleeve peeks out a little bit at the top, and you just have to push it back in. Now, when you do that, we'll take a closer look here. I'm using, these are Dragon Shield inners, and they have the black back and then just the clear front. So, you can't see through them because I have a black card and then the black sleeve. Maybe in the right light, like with my video light here, you can kind of tell. But in normal tournament lighting, LGS lighting, you can't tell that there's, you know, what the back is. And then looking here, you can see the border. There's a little bit of leeway on this side, a little bit of leeway on this side, and then just a tiny bit on the top, which is fine. That's great. And as you saw, very easy to get the sleeve in and out when double sleeving, which is what you want. You want your cards to be able to be sleeved easily, to double sleeve them easily. You don't want a lot of extra room or anything like that for your sleeves. So far, you know, with the little bit of play I've had, you can kind of see a nick here, a little tiny one. A little bit of play I've had with the GameGenic sleeves. Honestly, I don't think I have anything bad to say. They're cheap. They're extremely good quality. I would get these over... I'm actually going to start getting these over katanas, and I'm going to start getting these over dragon shields. I obviously still have my waifu sleeves, and I'm using over sleeves on those, but for tournament play or for competitive match play, I will be using Prime GameGenic sleeves going forward. So I have, you know, 3 decks here. This one is, you know, we got that slippery feel. So let's see, for an example, we'll put this one aside. And these are, again, brand new. They're sleeved in the same inner sleeve as the green, that Dragon Shield black inner sleeve. Now, brand new. Let's see what the shuffle feel is like. And honestly, like, they kind of just glide into each other, fall into place. There's nothing wrong with this. I've used some new sleeves before and they just scatter. Like, I have a weird grip here. I'm not worried about them flying out of my hand when shuffling. It is just an extremely good shuffle feel. I would say that's, you know, that's shuffled. We can cut the deck. Looks good. Slid a little bit, but other than that, it's fantastic. Like, amazing. And again, this is half a deck here, but this is just a beautiful red color. But let's do a quick comparison on some other sleeves here. So we have Dragon Shields, and then we have Katanas. And then let's get our GameGenic Primes. So, just at a quick side-by-side glance, let's just take this guy out, make sure it's sleeved nice and snug. These ones are using a little bit different sleeve. What on earth is going on here? Okay, yeah, so these are using the side loading sleeves. So a little bit different. The katanas don't have a double sleeve, and then these ones obviously do. Now, the Dragon Shields, what I don't like about the Dragon Shields is the amount of extra space at the top. It makes the sleeves bigger and a little bit more annoying to shuffle, in my opinion, and I just don't like it because the dimensions, a lot of people make the dimensions of their deck boxes for this extra space here up at the top, and I don't like that. I want the smallest deck box possible. If you've seen my videos, you know that. But when we compare the sizes here of the GameGenic Prime to the katanas, and I kind of did this in my Defender video, they're pretty much identical. There is a little bit, you know, using my scientific finger test here, there's a little bit of extra side on the width, barely, quite literally barely, and then they're the same height. But there is a little bit of extra space here, and it could be because they're double sleeved. This is double sleeved and this is not, so that could be throwing me off. And then when we compare GameGenic to Dragon Shield, that was the wrong way. We compare GameGenic to Dragon Shields. The top is peeking out with this pink color here, and then the sides are a little bit similar to the katanas. Again, scientific finger test here. Quite literally barely peeking over. But there's a lot of extra space up at the top. Some people like this because you can get a little rough with your cards and you don't have to worry that you're going to hit the top. I don't like it. I don't like when the sleeves are that big. Dragon Shield sleeves are not my favorite. I've always used katanas or waifu sleeves because the size is just a little bit smaller. But now, I have a better, cheaper alternative, which is GameGenic Primes. Now, I know a lot of people are going to ask me or ask about the stretch test. So, for the sake of the video, I have a green sleeve here, and I'm going to stretch this guy and see what happens. So, we have the double finger inserts, and then we're going to stretch a little bit more force, honestly, to rip the sleeve here. You can kind of see at the top the sleeve bent a little bit here and bent a little bit here. But ultimately it held together pretty well with, you know, significant amount of force. Again, I don't know why that test is important. Some people care about it. I don't see a world in where you're ever abusing your sleeves that much. But with the durability here, you know, they're gonna last a while. If you don't want to constantly buy a bunch of new sleeves and you want to, you know, use the same greens or the same reds or however many colors you decide on, it's good to know that, you know, your cards are going to last when you have to stretch them a little bit to pull the card out and then put the card back in its sleeve. So probably the reason why people do that is just the elasticity of the sleeve and how long it is going to last. So GameGenic Primes, I would say, you know, probably a 3 out of 5 on the elasticity test. Maybe a 4 out of 5 if I had to take a wild guess. Again, I don't do that to a lot of my sleeves, so I can't really give you a good number. But ultimately, the overall view of GameGenic Matte Prime sleeves is I'm gonna give 5 out of 5 stars. I think these are quite literally the best sleeves for your money. If you were in the market for sleeves, go to your local game store. You can check on GameGenic's website which store is carrying their sleeves or their products, and then you can go there and hopefully get them at a good cost. Like I said, my LGS was carrying them for $7.50, which is an absolute steal in my opinion. And they have a huge, wide variety of colors. And even if you have to go to like Amazon or something like that, you're spending 10 to 12 bucks, which is pretty average. That's what, you know, katanas are going to cost you about 15, and then you have dragon shields are going to cost you like 10 to 12. So depending on where you go, you're going to get a really good value. But I think these are the best sleeves, hands down. It is hard to think what would make these better. So ultimate review, 5 stars for GameGenic Matte Primes. Go get yourself some GameGenic Matte Prime sleeves. Tell me how you feel about them in the comments down below. I would love to know what you think their shuffle feel is like, how they last the test of time. You know, obviously so many shuffles, they're going to start to bend at the corners. They're going to get little nicks here and there. But I cannot recommend these anymore. Do yourself a favor. Go buy some GameGenic Matte Prime sleeves. Tell me what you think in the comments down below if you have them, if you think other sleeves are better than these, because quite honestly, I don't think there are better sleeves, but I'd be curious to know what you think. So let me know down in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.